The Jane Hedengren situation is officially a situation. It's about time we have a brutally honest conversation about it. Because this is one of those moments where I did not plan on making this video. Jane Hedengren went out there at the Big 12 championships while I was on a family vacation. So I really wasn't checking for what was happening on the cross-country championships across NCAA D1. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't really know about what was going on in cross-country. That is a part of the discussion. But every time Jane Hedengren has run this season, it's only happened twice, she makes us pay attention. Because if you care about distance running in college at all, and I mean at all, she is the story. Now, I'm just going to get out in front of this. Up until this moment, I have leaned into the Jane Hedengren is the next Katelyn Tuohy or the next Parker Valby narrative. I leaned into it because guess what? People respond to it. More people want to watch the video if it's framed in that way. You don't have to like it, but the data, like the analytics, this content, that thing that I do, there's analytics involved. It does tell me that that's what people respond to. But we are at a point where that is no longer true. I was wrong. Jane Hedengren is not the next Katelyn Tuohy. She's not the next Parker Valby. I'm sure she's the next something, but it ain't them. Because in the recent era, I'm just going to focus on the recent era of cross country, because I really didn't follow it all that seriously for, the past 20, 30 years. But what does matter is Jane Hedengren is the real deal, and we've never seen anything like this from a freshman. So let's just get into it. Big 12 championships. When the race goes off, I get to watch it on YouTube. They uploaded the footage. And I knew that Jane was going to run for, BYU. And I've already made a video where I talk more about, her first race, the pre-national race where, she breaks the course record. And, she's leading the defending national champions. Like, we've already commented on that, or at least I did. But this moment, the conference championship, I still kind of came to it with expectation because I didn't know what she was going to do. I don't know why I didn't know what she was going to do. I probably should have known, because once she breaks the course record and runs away from everybody the first time, she's likely going to do it again. So you could see the announcers. This is what you have to understand. From probably about less than a mile into the race, it's pretty clear that Jane was not just going to win, but she was going to win by a lot. So the announcers are trying to figure out how to even talk about the race, because she's basically running a time trial. That's what she's doing. She's out there running, and at this point, the conversation is Jane versus the record books. For the record, she broke the course record. Yes, she did. And she also broke the Big 12 championship meet record for cross country. Now, because courses are a little bit different, from here to there, it doesn't mean as much. But she still ran historically fast. So she runs far away from everybody, to the point where you basically forget that cross country is a team sport. It's the closest thing we have to that in track and field. And if college track and field looked more like cross country, particularly the way that it plays out and goes to its national title, I think college track and field would be doing a whole lot better when it comes to the television media rights and, national championship, watch history or, view counts, all of it. But hey, nobody asked me. But when Jane Hedengren goes out and runs like this, breaking all of these records, and she's doing it in her first college races, we now have to have uncomfortable conversations about not just Jane's talent, but what does it all mean? But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. There comes a point, I'm going to start naming some athletes, and it's not just distance runners. Think about Sidney McLaughlin-Levrone in college. Think about Mondo Duplantis in college. Both of them, we know what they are on the world stage. We're talking about gold medal winners multiple times over. They showed up at a young age and made it look like they belonged with the best in the world. But what matters most is they did compete in college for one season. And it was clear that there was a point where they were just pretending they were like everybody else. That's what it is. Because when you are a freshman and you're that good, or like collegiate record type good, win championships by a lot type good, national championship is supposed to be you, and if something catastrophic happens, maybe you don't get first. Once you're that good, it feels like you are pretending to be just like everybody else. I did not think Jane Hedengren was going to come to college and run like this. Certainly not out the gate. Because Katelyn Tuohy came to college after dominating the high school scene, and she didn't run like this initially. Her first conference championship in cross country, she didn't win, and she wasn't breaking course records. I mean, she was good, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't this. Parker Valby didn't win her first conference championship either. These are the facts. Both women went on to dominate later on. And cross country is just one season. So I assume that going into the indoor and outdoor season, Jane Hedengren is likely going to have to duplicate these performances. We haven't even gotten through cross country, but it feels like winning the national title is a foregone conclusion because I don't see anybody who can run with her at all. When I say at all, I mean at all. It feels like the gun goes off, she runs away from them, and we can pretend that we're watching a real race. I mean, you can watch her, and then you can watch the race, but she's not in the race. She's doing her own thing. What are we going to do? Because this was not supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to be this good. And it's actually unique because as far as I can understand, she wanted to run for BYU. She has, connections to run for BYU. And she's in many ways living a dream. But she's so good so quickly. Remember, we haven't seen anything like this, certainly not in recent memory. The only comps I have, you gotta leave distance running and start looking at the pole vault with Mondo or the 400 hurdles with Sydney. Like, if Jane does go indoors and follows the Parker Valby, Katelyn Tuohy blueprint, we're talking about indoor collegiate records before we even get to conference championships. Like, let's just say that she goes up to the Boston University, indoor meet, the one they do in December, because that's where everybody goes to break records. Let's say she just hops up on that track and breaks the record the first time she steps on the track, which is realistic. Like, that's not a wild projection. If she does, at that point, she's just waiting for the indoor national meet. Because conference, she's just running that thing to help her team score points. Just being real. Like, she's just training, getting her body set so that she can go out at nationals and, win a title. And hopefully, I guess, at this point, you might as well try to focus on helping BYU win an indoor or an outdoor national title. Because if they can get 10 points from Jane in multiple events, which I'm not trying to put pressure on her, but your talent, or her talent in this case, has already put that type of pressure on there. Like, there's no point in pretending Jane is like everybody else. So if you like college distance running, the Jane Hedengren era, I don't know how long it's going to last. Just being real about it. Because if it goes the way it's supposed to, even now, I'm just trying to process what it would be like for her to go indoors and outdoors and start losing. How does it happen? Because I don't see it. Because I know what the other women looked like. I know what they looked like this early in their career, but I also know what they looked like when they were at their best. I don't see anybody around who can run with her. And if there is a name, please put it in the comment section. Because if we're talking about the women's 5K, or for that matter, even the women's 10K on the track, is there any evidence that somebody's going to be able to run with Jane? She is, I guess, we're talking about a once-in-a-generation talent. Now, how long a generation lasts, I don't know. Because I thought Katelyn Tuohy was a once-in-a-generation talent for a whole bunch of reasons that I've already talked about on this channel. And I had no intentions on making another Katelyn Tuohy video. I even said I had no intention on making another Parker Valby video until they forced me to mention their names. And then Jane Hedengren came along, where it was like a little bit of deja vu. It felt like we had seen this before. But now I'm starting to realize we haven't seen this before. And I've got to point this out. Jane, anybody who's telling me that they saw this coming more than a year ago, I'ma call cap on it. And here's why. Because Sadie Engelhart was the best distance runner in high school. And she had broken records and, set the world on fire with her performances. She now competes for NC State, but she's really not a long distance runner, specifically 5K, 10K. That's not where her bread and butter is. Jane was better at the longer distances, don't get me wrong. And I even had her in my top 5 recruits across all the events coming out of her junior year. But it was not a real argument, Sadie Engelhart versus Jane at that moment. But a year passed, and Jane did a whole bunch of stuff on a high school track, and she was blowing everybody out of the water. Her times, compared to everybody else, just weren't matching. It came to a point where you had to say Jane is the number 1 recruit. Like, you had to say it, because it was true. And I guess it just never clicked. To me, that if she could hop over Sadie Englehart in her high school career on my recruit rankings, I guess it never clicked that meant at the college level, she was likely going to jump past everybody else as well. That was the part I wasn't prepared for, but she's already done it. The pressure is there, but she doesn't seem like she cares that much or she's worried about it. I don't think Jane is racing the other women. I think the other women are already aware now. They are not racing against Jane. Jane is going to do what she does. When the gun goes off, she's going to run her race. A race against the clock. A race against the record books. In every single meet that she goes to. And if she wants to pull a Parker Valby or even a Katelyn Tuohy, she's likely going to win most of those races. Which means there won't be much point in her running them again. Because she'll just be racing herself. She'll have to upgrade to the professional level in some form or capacity. Because the women in college, no matter how old they are, juniors, seniors, red shirts, transfers, all of it, I don't see any evidence they can run with Jane. And if that's true, we are just going to have to deal with the fact that we ain't going to get to see her in a college uniform for long. Because there is absolutely no point in pretending that you are just like everyone else, when your times and your performances make it clear you are most definitely not. Actually made it all the way to the end of this video. I do have to admit that thank you doesn't do it justice anymore, because you are a real one. And if you want more from me beyond this video, on scarecruiting.com, you can get a ton of resources, like my free recruiting guide, online courses, and much more, including the option to meet with me one-on-one, where my specialty is helping you figure out which schools might actually be the best fit for you. And if nothing else, and you really just want to see more content like this, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.